the more and more and more I read about the aftermath of the mostly peaceful protests on Capitol Hill from Wednesday, the more I'm thinking that this is just a total fucking setup, because honestly, what the media, what the Democrats, what the weak rhinos out there are using this all for is just political gain, and boy does it just seem all too easy for the rioters to just break in, for them to, the people in power, that is, to push forward with whatever their agenda is going to be over the next 4 or 8 years. Hopefully it'll be just 2, because maybe the Senate and the House will come back to order. But it has to be under a certain type of Republican rule. Not what we're seeing right now with the likes of Lindsey Graham, who we're going to get to right close, but as you can see here, boy, do those deep state institutions move quickly when it's some of their own that get attacked. Boy, or when it affects them. Yeah. U.S. Capitol rioters could face up to 10 years in prison. That's impressive. And we're going to look at a couple other pictures here in the next article. And I don't know. I haven't seen anything that would lead me to say that this was a horrific riot on the scale of, Black Lives Matter. And then another thing I was thinking of, was this more or less traumatic than like LA Dodgers or the LA Lakers winning the championships here this fall? Like, I did a video on the Dodgers protests that were mostly peaceful. There was just millions of dollars worth of property damage, and same with the LA Lakers who won. LeBron James was a little bit quiet on that one, but of course, what could you possibly expect? But I think that might be a little bit fairer of a comparison, but still, like we covered yesterday, it was the 5 people who died out of this. We don't have any more information on the police officer who was killed as a result of this, or the lady who was trampled, or the guy who had a heart attack, or the bus driver who just kind of ended up dead. But we do have some more information on another person, but let's dig into this here. Thanks to President Donald Trump, who participated in the riot in the U.S. Capitol. 10 years, okay, in prison due to his executive order protecting federal property. Okay, that was the executive order for statues and shit, which is kind of funny, because we're going to get to statues here in a minute. But yeah, everybody kind of figured that the most prominent figures that were coming out of the pictures and all of the scenery that we were seeing there, because they couldn't really show anything on fire or any kind of smoke. They had to change the saturation and the color palette in pictures in order to make it look like the Capitol building was under some kind of a smoke screen. I've seen those pictures and they're fucking disgusting because it's just propaganda. Acting Attorney General Jeff Rosen vowed to prosecute the pro-Trump rioters who besieged the U.S. Capitol on Wednesday, stating they would face the full consequences of their action under the law, and added that those consequences could include being charged under President Trump's executive order authorizing up to 10 years in prison for injury to federal property. Well, there wasn't a lot of injury, and you couldn't really identify the people who actually did break the glass or attempted to break the glass. They just looked like black bloc individuals with a pristine Trump sticker on the back of their helmet. Make of that information what you will. I'm still gathering information on that, and like I said, this is looking way too much like a setup, and I just got to get a few more articles together before I do a proper video on it. So our criminal prosecutors have been working throughout the night with special agents and investigators from the United States Capitol Police, FBI, ATF, Metropolitan Police Department, and the public to gather the evidence identifying perpetrators and charge federal crimes where warranted, not when warranted. Rosen said in a statement, some participants in yesterday's violence will be charged today, and we will continue to methodically assess evidence, charge crimes, make arrests in the coming days and the weeks to ensure that those responsible are held accountable under the law. I wish he would have done that for any of those fucking riots that happened over the summer. Granted, he wasn't in charge, but it's still, for all intents and purposes, 99% of the Department of Justice. Yeah. Just goes to show you, they're motivated to do something when it directly affects the people that they want to prosecute. On Thursday, Lindsey Graham, the turncoat cocksucker, and I really feel bad that I tried to give him any credit, but whatever, sometimes we're wrong, I guess, called for the establishment of the task force to identify the arrest and prosecute members of the violent mob. That would imply that outside of the 2 people that died in conspicuous circumstances and the 2 people who legitimately died as a result of the actions at Capitol Hill were fucking up the place, but it just doesn't bear out. He described them as domestic terrorists. Of course he did, because they won't actually come back and harm them. If it was Black Lives Matter Antifa protests, Lindsey Graham would be singing a different tune. But yeah, the fucking standing in attorney general who's going to be replaced by Merrick Garland. Yes, the same Merrick Garland who was going to be put up. He was Obama's nomination for the Supreme Court just before 2016. So yeah, he's going to be in charge, and he's totally going to throw the book at these guys. Absolutely, no doubt, 100% it's going to happen. And it's already taken place because the man who is the face of the storming has been arrested. Old Buffalo Bill here. He's been arrested by the feds. Federal police arrested the shirtless man in horns and fur, whose photo inside the Capitol spread widely on the internet, created several new memes. Yes, it did. The conspicuous man has been identified as 32-year-old Jacob Anthony Chansley, also known as Jake Angeli, from Arizona. I know a bunch of good people from Arizona. A bunch of crazy people there too. But honestly, this guy was just a fucking nutter, and he got a sweet photo at the speaker's podium. And he had his little decree in the Senate. It was very cute. He was arrested on Saturday. Oh, according to the Department of Justice statement. Of course, they work quickly whenever it's somebody who would dare question the elites and their judgment. It is alleged that Chansley was identified as the man seen in the media coverage who entered the Capitol building dressed in horns, bearskin headdress, red, white, and blue face paint, shirtless, and tan pants. Really sounds like somebody who would bring down a republic. This individual carried a spear, oh my god, 6 feet in length with an American flag tied just below the blade. Oh my god. As you can see there, terrifying. That man there. Oh. And there was another great picture that came out of this too, and we're going to go through some pictures on this next post because the guy who walked out there and he was carrying the lectern. You can kind of see his picture there, but we got plenty more pictures and I'll point them out here when we get through it. But he was walking out, he was just waving at the camera, just looking like he was having a fucking great old laugh. But yeah, he's also been arrested by the feds because they work quickly. Remember, they've had an open investigation on the Hunter Biden laptop, this exact same institution, since the end of 2019. A Florida man, caught on camera carrying a lectern through the United States Capitol during Wednesday's riot has been arrested. A NBC affiliate WFLA-TV reported 36-year-old Adam Johnson, just a guy. I've also heard that he's a father of 5. So just if these people were going to lead to the downfall of the republic, the fucking republic deserved to be overthrown because you got some fucking 30-something-year-old LARPer in a fucking headdress, and then you got smiley guy with a fucking bobble-tooth toque on. Christ almighty. Johnson lives in Parrish, located near Manatee County. Fucking Florida has the best names for counties. And is married to a local physician and has 5 children. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Photograph was taken from Wednesday's riot. Showed a man believed to be Johnson carrying the lectern reportedly belongs to the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Well, it's got that insignia on it. Johnson is a registered voter in Manatee County, listed as no party affiliation, and he voted in presidential elections in both 2004 and 2020, so he's probably another one of those guys who was disenfranchised by the choices in 2008, John McCain, then Mitt Romney, and then was unsure about Donald Trump, which I remember a bunch of people were, so, and then, hey, yeah, voted in 2020, because a lot of people did. Not enough people, apparently, because there's no evidence of widespread voter fraud. Thanks, YouTube. But yeah, here's the pictures of all the terror that happened at the Capitol. I'm not too sure if it was through that window that Ashli Babbitt was shot, but we'll get to her very shortly as well. And then, yeah, as you can see, oh my god, look at all those terrible people taking pictures in the fucking entryway of the Capitol building. And then, oh my god, see what they're doing to statues. It's just terrible. Somebody taking a picture with the fucking Ronald Reagan statue. Not knocking it over, not defacing it, just taking a picture with it. And then putting a MAGA hat and putting a flag in Gerald Ford's arm. Oh, but look at that. There's a water bottle there. There's also been videos circulating around that Trump supporters were also cleaning up afterwards. They had garbage bags. They were picking up anything that was on the floor. Insurrectionists, guys. Remember, that's what the mainstream media are calling them. Oh my god. And here's where all the trouble starts. We got gas masks. We have people rappelling down from the balcony. You have them not knocking over the velvet ropes. And I don't know if we'll get to the picture of it, but they were moving them out of the way so more people could just walk in. But there's smoke because they needed to get them out instead of just asking them politely. Yeah, look, we're a couple of pictures ahead there. And, okay, there's a whole bunch of them. Do you see anything broken? There's somebody holding up a banner there. They've got the velvet ropes and then the stands not knocked over, just pushed off to the side so nothing gets injured. And it's funny, right? Here's a good contrast. It's like, this is the bulk of the people that got in there. Okay, they went through the front door. It may or may not have been alleged that they were let in, but yeah, that's for another video as well. As you can see, everybody standing around, have a stick, some flags, a few dozen MAGA hats. Nothing's really broke. And then you take a look through the window there. Could have been a hell of a lot worse if it was actual people that were out there that were coming in to do something about it. Look at that thin line of Capitol Police officers. They were complicit in this. And look at how many more, just in this picture there, just through that window, just thousands of people that are standing there. I'm not too sure if that's Nancy Pelosi's desk or if that's the office that got turned over. But it's hilarious. The only kind of institutional coverage that we've seen there, like your Alphabet Network coverage, they were walking through the one office that was completely trashed. As you can see right there, there's some papers right on that desk there. And somebody's just, I don't know, is that some kind of a smoke or somebody rolled up something? I don't know. Just looking at dial numbers on the phone or not knocking over anything, just having a seat. Oh yes, and the aftermath of the destruction. Okay, some bookshelves, and I know I seen the New York Times report that was filled, one of those was filled with women in politics throughout history flyers. Yeah, it was knocked over and it was broke. God, it's really just terrible. Oh yeah, this is the guy who was sitting and kicking back on Nancy Pelosi's desk. I just love this picture. It's literally the best. Oh, sweet. At least he got his signature. He got a little souvenir for the time. So yeah, after we went down memory lane, and boy, that was a little fun. There were some other pictures of, people peering out windows, and it looks like, yeah, double paned glass. Actually, I'll just show you here. Yeah, this guy right here. Okay, yeah, he's looking out the window. Clearly, the window's broken. Okay, I've never denied the fact that some windows were broken, but as you can see here, the double pane glass, the glass on the outside is broken, and the one on the inside is not. So, tried to get in there and then just decided that, hey, maybe the door is probably a better choice. But just to wrap this up, at least 3 other men from Florida have been charged with unlawful entry and a chaotic breach of the U.S. Capitol. Yes, we got it. U.S. Capitol Police say John Anderson, a man with Podium, Michael Carrazio of Summerfield, and Matthew Council of Riverview are facing unlawful entry charges. Note there's nothing about burglary, vandalism, or anything that's actually violent right now, but they'll still call the entire siege violent because they have no better descriptor to slander everyone with. And if they actually told the truth, it wouldn't be so sensational and they wouldn't be able to craft the narrative coming out of this. But in my opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of people, this is something that's not getting nearly enough credit. The shooting death of Ashli Babbitt and the way that everything's being reported that, 5 people died in this, but not mentioning that the cops shot a former U.S. Air Force veteran. But there might be some justice that comes out of this. I'm not optimistic because we've seen the court just kind of dismiss everything. Federal prosecutor opens excessive force investigation into the death of Ashli Babbitt. Michael Sherwin, acting U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia, said that his office has started a federal excessive force investigation over the shooting and killing of former U.S. Air Force veteran Ashli Babbitt in the Capitol on January 6th. Sherwin confirmed the investigation with CBS News. His civil rights section will lead the prosecution, which is being investigated by D.C. Police and the FBI. Brian Hudak, acting civil chief of the United States Attorney Office of District of Columbia, the FBI, and the United States Capitol Police didn't respond to the request for comment. So, yeah, they're just going to start it, and hopefully we figured out what the hell happens, and hopefully there's some justice for her family. There's not much more to say to that, but at least something's going to come out of this, and she's not just going to be, mercilessly executed, and nobody else is really talking about it. All they're talking about is just the overthrow that's probably coming on Monday. And like I said, when it comes to the FBI and all of those other, ATF, DOJ, they work very quickly when it's the people that they like who are injured. And we're going to have a Senate bipartisan probe into security failures with Capitol breach, which is interesting. And it's everybody who also voted against contestation of the electoral counts who are going to be a part of this probe. It is our duty as a bipartisan leaders of the Senate committees with the jurisdiction over Homeland Security, oversight, and Capitol operations to examine the security failures that led to Wednesday's attack. Senator Gary Peters, Rob Portman, ranking members and members of the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee, and Roy Blunt, and Amy Klobuchar, chairman and ranking members of the Senate Committee on Rules and Administration, said in a joint statement, "Let us be clear. An attack on the Capitol building is an attack on every American." Sure, just the ones that have to pay for all the damages. A couple of windows. We plan to conduct oversight and hold a bipartisan hearings on these horrific events and work together to make necessary reforms to ensure it'll never happen again. This report will never see the light of day, or they'll just find some fucking people to blame for it. Probably Anthony Walker there, the fucking podium thief. Oh, he smashed everything. He was wielding it like a madman. Well, he didn't have possession of it until he left the chambers of Congress. How dare you undermine our democracy? Cool. Let's see where this goes. I'd imagine it's going to get black holed anyways. But like I said, Monday we can expect the overthrow to happen. We already know that Nancy Pelosi, I'm pretty sure I reported that yesterday. Yeah, she's drumming up articles of impeachment to be handed out on Monday. And Mitch McConnell is circulating impeachment procedures in the Senate. Now, it also says here it wouldn't begin until the end of Trump's term. So what's so important about this? Let's take a look. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, not for much longer, circulated procedures this week for another impeachment trial against President Trump, but per the timeline, proceedings would not occur until after Trump is already out of office. But you guys also might be thinking, okay, what if an emergency session? What if the articles of impeachment move all the way through the House at an expedited rate? Just cool your horses for a second. The memo detailed in the Washington Post provides the timeline for another impeachment trial, which has January 19th as its earliest possible date. The Senate could begin the process one day before President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration, as the upper chamber will not reconvene for substantive businesses until that day. Okay, well, can't they just pull a emergency session? Au contraire. Although the Senate will hold two pro forma sessions next week on January 12th and 15th, it is barred from conducting any kind of business during those days. Sounds like a regular workday for the Senate, including beginning to act on received articles of impeachment from the House. That is explicitly in their edict. They are not there. They are only there to just be fucking senators. Without agreement, they could change this. Only if they get all 100 senators to vote on an emergency session. You really think Hawley, who had his house protested in the dead of night by a bunch of crazy motherfuckers, who's been deplatformed by Simon & Schuster, railing against big tech. The book that he was supposed to produce was railing against big tech, which would be more prescient now than ever. It won't see the light of day, at least from Simon & Schuster. And Ted Cruz, who's being heralded as, I might be able to just pull up the little headline here, it's not important enough, but the Houston Chronicle, a left-wing paper in one of Texas's left-wing cities, is calling for him to step down just because he had the balls of following the Constitution. Weird thing that. So no, if there were 6 and 7 senators, 7 voted against Pennsylvania certification, 6 for Arizona, do you think that they'd vote unanimously in order to hear articles of impeachment? Probably not. But Mitch could always just have a turn of heart and decide that, yeah, okay, maybe on the 12th and the 15th they'll be discussing this. Perhaps. We've seen them play fast and loose with the rules anyways. McConnell's memo emphasized that point, noting that they would require the consent of all 100 senators to conduct any business of any kind during the scheduled pro forma sessions prior to January 19th, and therefore the consent of all 100 senators to begin acting on any articles of impeachment during those sessions. Now that does sound pretty strong, okay? I'll just read his statement right here. In effect, that makes the matter of an impeachment trial an issue that will need to be taken up by stupid Chuck Schumer, the incoming majority leader, in the first days of the Biden presidency, a move that would almost certainly distract from the president-elect's immediate agenda to battle the coronavirus pandemic and ensure his cabinet nominees get confirmed. Or like how there were supposed to be 13 or 14 senators to object against the electoral votes, and all of a sudden, a couple of people got into the House. I seen a man, a ghastly man, a tall man. He had horns growing out of his head, and his hair was just so wild. Listen to them clutch their pearls, and I don't know, see how much more shit they throw against Trump here in the next day or so. They're not supposed to convene again until the 12th, and things could fucking change over the next 3 days. And yeah, all the Democrats in the Senate, a vast majority of them, what was it, 39 of them we took a look at yesterday? 39 to 38. And I wouldn't be surprised if the likes of Mitt Romney and his cabal would just hop the fence over there saying, oh, Donald Trump has done more problems to our great party than anybody in history. I'll just shut up and be a failure like your father. But that's the aftermath of what we know today. There was no more platforms out there that could throw Trump from their own private sector shores. This is just a thought I've had today, and it won't really work its way into any other videos because this is the only video we're going to do about Capitol Hill and whatever here today. But when somebody comes up to you and says, I totally side with them deplatforming, big tech this is, deplatforming Donald Trump because, oh, my private business. Okay, well, those private businesses only thrive because of Section 230, a government law, okay? And if they're only allowed to grow and thrive with those provisions in place, they are de facto acting as a government platform. At least that's my opinion of it. So I think that whole, oh, my private business is kind of dead in the water. That's hilarious coming from the old. I guess there's nobody left who is from the old left over there. But yeah, they used to be the ones against giant corporations. How the tides have turned. But anyways, yeah, I think that was probably about the most upbeat video we've had the chance to do on the aftermath of Capitol Hill. I just think it's all fucking stupid at this point. And just a whole bunch of hypocrites, and the people who are cheering all this stuff on are going to look pretty stupid when it comes for them. Because eventually it'll be somebody who agrees that it was a little stupid for these businesses to be going against Trump, and then it'll be the people who like those people, and then it'll eventually trickle down to you. So guess what, guys? It's only a matter of time, and 4 years can be either over like that, or it can take a very, very, very long time. And don't forget that. I think our side is probably just going to end up building up their own forces, focusing in on themselves and what they can do for the rest of the movement and make it better. Meanwhile, the other side is just going to continue to knife each other in the back until there's nobody left. So I don't know. Pick your side. I think I'm going to be on the winner. Thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.